For me, it was some sort of magic, like terrifying black dragon made of chains. I watched the first thing I actually watched from the saga was on back in late '80s. I watched a VHS that I had of the making of the movie magic, of how to make animatronics and special effects in movies. And it had a scene from it had a making of Aliens, and it had a scene from Alien. And it was the first time I saw that first kill from the first movie when the alien is introduced for the first time to the world. And again, the memory was this kind of terrifying figure of something that it was really hard to understand what it was. I mean, the first time you watch that movie, you don't know what the creature is for most part of the movie until the very end. You really finally understand that it's actually a human being. It has legs. It has it has a lot of human in it, right? That's what really makes it terrifying. So that was my first reaction, was being terrified of that image, of that presence, of the introduction of something that you have never seen before, and it was really hard to understand what you were looking at. For me, it was some sort of magic, like terrifying black dragon made of chains. And I tried to really do that in the movie. I tried to bring, this movie is really me trying to put together and recreate in a different way, in a different scene, in a different setting, but something that evokes the same feelings that first encounter evoked in me the first time I watched the movie. It's interesting. It's a good question, because I think to be able to effectively create any story that is a horror story, you have to understand what's the underlying fear that you're playing with. I remember when I was doing Don't Breathe, it was a fear to the violation of private property. That was really what worked at first. It's just so as soon as you have characters entering some space they're not supposed to be there, we all get tense because we all imagine what way anybody will get into our space, and what if people do that all the time. Is terrifying. So you have to really understand what is working. I think with Alien, it's still so mysterious. That's what's great about it, because I think as soon as you know and you understand it, you're less scared of it, right? You go, oh, I know what you're doing. And as soon as people know, and so even if I knew, I don't think I will put it in words, because it will make it less scary. It's like, you know what I mean? It's as soon as you understand, it's like when a kid is scared of something on the wall, and if I have with my kids and I tell them, oh, it's just a shadow of this thing. Oh, okay, it's not scary anymore. So the same thing, I think, to explain it to you, my goal is to make it terrifying. So I think if I tell you how I do it, why is it working, I think it kind of ruins the fear a little bit. My ambition, and I think, it's hard to do, but a lot of times cinema, with time, takes ideas that you've seen a few times, and they push it to a place where suddenly, for an audience, it feels suddenly like this is the real version of the movie version. You know what I mean? Like that's. You see gunshots have done that a few times through every decade or so. Like the gunshot sound changes, and when it does, you go, oh, that's how it sounds in real life. And famously, Terminator 2 was the first time that gunshots stopped it from being like poof, to be like pa, pa, for the first time, and it was terrifying. It was so brutal and dry and non-cinematic in a way. Not trying to be more, just being more real, and that's what made it so impactful. The punches on Fight Club, that was the first time you were hearing punches that didn't sound like psh, they sounded like, and it was, it really hit you, it really emotionally hit you. So I think that's what you do. You're trying to take something and not make it like a movie, but make it like the real world. And that's what hopefully you felt watching the chest burst this morning. It felt more like a natural, and like a documentary that needed to be narrated by Attenborough, saying like the creature looks for the scent of the mother, because that's what he's doing. And that, I think, it's instead of trying to make it cinematic and you're trying to make it crude and real, and that's when I think, for me at least, it works better. So you try to move to that next step of evolution of cinema, the one you're trying to push realism as much as possible.